you
Hello.
go. Awesome. So, Julianna, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for accepting.
Yeah,
Now, before we start, I have to give you an epic welcome to the show. So, if you have watched some of my episodes, you know exactly what's gonna happen right now. If you haven't, it's okay. Let me show you. So,
Okay.
there you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd bow if you could see me in the body. Just kidding.
Epic.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, starting with the whole interview now, tell me how it all started for you. I mean, where does your passion for acting started?
I think my artistic journey started when I was younger. It first started with music. I was obsessed with the singer-songwriter Jewel, and I originally wanted to be a girl with my guitar and playing music. I loved writing poetry and everything. So when I had the opportunity after high school to apply for a musical theater college, I did that. And that brought me to Los Angeles. And going to a musical theater school made me realize that while I enjoyed watching it, I didn't want to be a musical theater performer myself. And I gravitated towards more of TV and film, which, you know, I can still do the storytelling, but it was, I kind of discovered I wasn't the triple threat. I wasn't going to be, you know, the most amazing ballerina, singer, and also TV and film, there's just something different about it that I love. Yeah. And while I do love live theater, I was just gravitating towards those classes. And while I still do love music and I kind of incorporate that with my acting, that my journey kind of started with my love for music and then transitioned from there.
That's amazing here. And tell me, what were some of the challenges that you had when you started your career?
Well, being from Erie, Pennsylvania and moving to Los Angeles 2 months after high school, I didn't visit before I came out here. So I had sold my car previously. So it was hard just getting around and navigating. And back in the day when, you know, Garmins were still just being used and getting to auditions all over, figuring that out with buses and public transportation. And then when you're beginning as an actor, you know, you need to build your resume. So just auditioning a lot for student films and just getting used to that whole audition process, because you could be the best actor, but if you don't know how to book in the room, then you're not going to book and you don't get a play. So just kind of learning the whole flow, because right away it was kind of, I was just auditioning for more student films, building up my resume, getting those SAG vouchers and all that good stuff. But the challenge is when you are beginning, I guess, getting those first roles. But I will say, when I was non-union, the jobs were more frequent just because there was a lot that I could apply for myself that these bigger jobs, agents and managers get you. So I did have fun when I was getting started, but it was a lot of just learning everything, learning how to go in and have that confidence and make eye contact and don't shake casting directors' hands because it's cold season and now it's COVID, you know. So, and now all I've been doing is self-tapes for about a year and a half now. But and that's another thing. You just gotta, the challenging part is to keep progressing as things progress. When I first moved here, they were just transitioning out of black and white headshots, and our teachers at school were saying you don't get those anymore, but soap operas previously loved those. So you have to say, okay, that's done. I have to learn and adapt, because otherwise you're not gonna stay on top of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. And then in 2010, you were in so back in 2009, sorry, you were in the film Difficult to Stay Alive and Die. Tell me, was that your first film experience?
That wasn't my first. I had done some student films, but that was my first IMDb credit. And that film, I got to work with Patrick Gallagher, who was in Glee, Night at the Museum. He's in a bunch of stuff. I got to work with a bunch of great actors as a bikini model in the scene. And so that was my first credit. It was a great fun day on set. And from there, continue to grow my resume again. But yeah, that was a fun bikini clad role, I guess.
That's cool. And then in 2010, you were in more projects such as It's F in Science, Island of Fantasy, and The Warm-Up Guy. Tell me, during that time, what was your reaction to see that you were getting more roles to play?
It was really fun. I always loved playing on set again, just like learning, growing, meeting people on set, creating. The F in Science was really fun. We got to do experiments, even though it was freezing outside in a pool. And again, I think that was a bikini role. I had a lot of non-union bikini roles I was booking back in the day. But it was just a lot of fun. I really, through my early 20s out here in Los Angeles, I was just really learning a lot about myself and learning how to be the best version of myself when I go in the room I can, to put my best foot forward, to really stay communicative with my agent. I mean, there's just so much to it. But yeah, I was, back in the day, I did not have a manager or anything. So mostly I was submitting myself. So those jobs were kind of, I guess, a good win too, because I was submitting myself and getting out there.
That's wow. And tell me how you prepare to play a character.
So for me, preparing for a character, what I love to do is actually build a playlist on Spotify as that character. And so when I'm getting ready, I go through those songs. That way, whether it's a dark emotions are going through, something going on with a lover, this or that, I kind of built it on that character and their story. And I like to play that music before I go into the room. And that kind of helps me a lot with building up the character.
Wow. And in 2011, you were in 1,000 Ways to Die. So tell me about your experience during that project and what did you enjoy the most?
So that was another fun non-union project I did. Oh my gosh, that show. So I was a Christmas elf, and my other elf friend and I were getting harassed by a stone Santa Claus. And so he inappropriately touched her. I yelled at him, and Santa ended up going into the building and getting an icicle like through his eye. So that was our scene. It was fun. What I loved about that was I booked that through doing improv. So that's something fun to do when you go in. You can't, there are different nerves. You know, if you go in and you know the script, you're more worried about messing up or not remembering your lines. But when you're doing improv, you can't get nervous in that way. So I enjoy kind of just thinking on my feet. So we got to play on set. It was fun.
Absolutely. And also, it's a show that everybody knows, you know?
Yeah. And when you were out here, when 1,000 Ways to Die was casting, I feel like everyone I knew auditioned. That was like a goal to get a role in that. So
yeah,
it's definitely a good milestone.
Yeah, wow, that's so awesome. And that same year, you were in A Guy Walks Into a Bar, Salad Days, and in Sarah and the Sock Puppet. Now, for that film, you played as Rebecca. Tell me, what did you like the most about the film?
Well, with the name Sarah and the Sock Puppet, there was one of the characters was an actor that had a hand sock puppet. So that was fun interacting with a sock puppet at the beach. We got to run around, play in the sand. I was kind of like a snotty older sister. So that was fun for me because I have an older brother, but I never got to be like a bossy sister. So it was fun kind of playing that for that role.
That's cool. And how you prepare before start shooting a scene?
For me personally, again, I kind of like to decompress, listen to a little bit of music to get into a certain mood. And I like to stretch, not fully work out, but just get your blood flowing, get moving, get warmed up. I'll kind of, if I have proper privacy, I might sing, not great, but I'll sing to kind of get my voice warmed up. And then depending on what the project is, usually if you're on for like a film or TV set, you're going to, you know, block and warm up with your cast or your scene partners. So usually your other scene partners want to rehearse too, so we'll all like run up to each other, let's run lines, and you know, go through all that. So running lines, kind of getting my body warmed up and dancing around to music.
That's cool. And what's the number one thing you always bring with you when you have to go shoot a project?
I've learned to always bring my phone charger, because sometimes you think you're going to be on set for like 4 or 5 hours, and then it turns into 12 hours. And if you're on your phone and again listening to music, you know, your phone battery is going to drain quickly. So I've learned to always carry that no matter where you go.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, real quick here, tell me what's a playlist or what's the music genre you always listen to, kind of, you know, to get yourself in the mood to shoot a scene?
I kind of listen to a wide variety of music, like synth pop. I like folk music. I like a lot of singer-songwriter, classic rock. It kind of just depends. I have such random music on my playlist, and so I will go through that and then just create a playlist for that character and kind of build it. And it can be anything, you know, from Michael Jackson to Churches. I mean, it's just a wide array of music, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Will you go over to your to those playlists every here and then?
Sometimes, if I'm feeling in that mood, yeah. the one time on one of my projects, I made a playlist, and because it was a very sensual scene with no dialogue, they let me play my music. So that was fun. I got to actually perform the scene the way that I was envisioning it. So, because it fit and they felt it fit too. So
that's awesome.
That was fun. You know, when you watch movies, you've always got the soundtrack in there. So
that's badass, by the way. And if you could describe your career at the moment in a TV show or a film, what would be the title of it?
This was funny. Remember you asked me that earlier, and I was trying to think about that. I would say The Waiting Game, because it's a hurry up and wait game. It's a numbers game. It's a game that you have to kind of do the audition and toss it away mentally and move on to the next. Yeah. But you're always kind of waiting to see if one of those that you auditioned for a day or a week before is going to come through. But yeah, The Waiting Game, I think.
There you go.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So there you go.
I like it. It's a cool name. It's interesting. The Waiting Game. I mean, it doesn't tell you anything, like anything. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of catchy because you want to see what's the game, you know?
Yeah. What are you waiting for? Exactly.
There you go. Love it. Now, between the years 2012 and 2015, you were in even more projects, such as Confessions of a Sailor, Bad Weather Films, Jennifer Day TV, Rendezvous, Speed Demon, Beyond the Mat, The Kitchen web series, The Goddaughter Part 2, Stitchers, Bitch, and then you were in Jane the Virgin. So tell me about your character as well and about the show.
So Stitchers and Jane the Virgin. Stitchers was actually my first SAG. I had been SAG for a couple years, but that was my first speaking co-star TV role. And then I booked Jane the Virgin, and that was great because that was a reoccurring role. I got to play in 2 episodes. So that was really fun. I was a junior network executive. And so there was a senior network executive that was my boss, basically. And so it was a lot of physical comedy, face reacting as kind of like her little like dopey sidekick through it. I had actually auditioned for that show. I think that was my 8th audition that I booked. So the message with that is don't get discouraged if an office or a casting director likes you and keeps bringing you in. Sometimes you're like, why am I getting called in again but not booking? They're just waiting to find the right role for you. And it makes it all the more worth it, you know, when you do get that booking. So when that came through, that was really exciting. And that was a really fun show. The cast is really great of Jane the Virgin. Really, really fun, humble cast.
That's amazing. And what would you say it's the key for a good comedy?
I think comedy, has to come from a real place. You know, a lot of, it doesn't always have to be dark, but I think finding and bringing a part of yourself, finding your own quirks. It's got to have a little bit of yourself to be real. It doesn't have to be you, but it definitely has to have an element of realness, unless it's something completely goofy. But if, comedic timing, just being present, being aware, also listening to your scene partners. You know, acting isn't just about speaking, it's about listening even more.
True. And what do you like the most of doing comedy?
Again, I think improv, even though sometimes it scares me, I really like just playing and getting to think on my feet. I like witty comedies. I do tend to go to more dark places. I watch a lot of true crime and horror, but when I do get to act in comedies like Jane the Virgin, I enjoy it a lot.
That's awesome. And later you were in Pitch, Battle B-Boy, Rom-Con, Natural Selection, and in 2019 you were in Pre-Science. Tell me about your character and what can we expect to see in that show? So it's Prescience. Everyone says Pre-Science. I didn't know that it looks like Pre-Science. That is a dark thriller, and that was released by Indican Pictures and Lionsgate. So that was really cool to get that picked up by Lionsgate. I play an actress to the main character in that. I don't want to give away too much about it, but you can watch it right now on Amazon Prime. And I got to do go to a couple film festivals for that picture, in Richmond, Virginia, Las Vegas, and here in Los Angeles as well. But it was a really fun picture. It's an LGBTQ film. Okay. Got a really great message. Awesome. And from all of the characters that you have played so far, would you say that each one of them could describe little parts of yourself? Yeah, I guess that comes back to the realness. You got to bring a part of yourself to it. But I would think if I played like some kind of like psychotic serial killer,
maybe I could find a mannerism of hers or certain way she acts or feels, but I'm not going to identify with wanting to like kill people.
Yeah,
even if I do like listening to crime. But yeah, I think for most projects, again, back in the day, I had long blonde hair, and I mean, it's getting better with more women writers, more women in the room, but like I was booking a lot of cheerleader, bikini girl, blonde, this and that. So while I can identify a little bit, sometimes that was even harder because there wasn't a lot of substance. So really, when you get a character with good substance, that's exciting. And then you kind of go from there, because if you are booking it, then the casting director and the, producers see you as that character. So it's just finding your own element in it.
Yeah. And what would you say it's important for young actors to know when they recently started their careers?
So for young actors, I think it's important to love what you do, be very passionate, work hard, but don't put all your happiness in the success of your career, because there's going to be highs and lows. And if you only feel good when you book stuff, it's going to be not a fun experience. I personally had to find things I'm passionate about, like animals, volunteering at an animal shelter, other things that I can stay busy on my goals, but I'm still a fulfilled person, because it is a very impersonal but very personal field, putting yourself out there all the time, and especially if you're younger, you're getting critiqued from head to toe and everything that comes out of your mouth. So it is personal, but it's a really impersonal career. You go into, when you're starting for TV roles, you audition for co-star, which is usually 5 and under lines, and if you audition for nurse number 1, they're auditioning someone who looks like me, but then a bunch of other people, men, women, whatever, and you can't take it personal. They're going to go with who fits, but it's kind of letting go of that ego and just loving what you do, putting everything you've got into the audition, but when it's done, letting it go and moving on to something else that brings you joy, because I've been in those dark places, having nice highs, but then feeling like really, really bad because I didn't book something, and just being very, very negative talking to myself. So just filling your life with good friends and family and positive people too, on your journey through acting is really important. It's really, really important to have a good support system.
Preach. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you have such an amazing career. I mean, you have been involved in so many projects. So tell me, what keeps you motivated to keep up doing this amazing job that you have, and at the same time keep building this amazing career you have?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Definitely, again, the support system. I have a really, really great fiance. My family lives across the country, but they're very, very supportive of what I do. You have to realize as an artist that you don't have that normal 9 to 5, and sorry, but where were we starting again? I just went off on my own tangent. I'm like, what was I saying to you? Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. So, like, basically, what motivates you to keep doing an amazing job and keep building your career at the same time?
Support system. Also, when you do book, feeling proud of yourself and getting to play on set, getting to work with other great actors. Again, you don't want to only find joy from that, but if you do love it, you're always going to want to keep working. So I just try to really embrace the whole process now, instead of saying, oh, I have a self-tape, getting excited about it and saying I get to play, I get to work, especially during COVID, it's been tough. We've all been a little bit more isolated, but really I've been at it for more than a decade, and I've gotten to the point where I've really grown a lot, learned a lot about myself, and it's about perseverance. And that's what I'm gonna stick with it. I paid for the schooling, went through the unions, love what I do. Just have to realize that the auditions are part of it, but don't let them defeat you, because once you get in, with good casting directors, it's just a matter of time.
Absolutely. Now, changing here a little bit, you also do roller skating. So tell me, was it something you always knew since you were little, and how often you do it? I mean, will you still do it on your free time?
Yes, I love roller skating. I did skate when I was younger. My mom took me to lessons for a little bit, and then it became cool to rollerblade. So I unfortunately stopped skating. I wish I never stopped. And then probably about a decade out here ago, I got an opportunity to work on a music video, and I jumped in a swimming pool and roller skates. And since I did that, they let me keep the skates. I got back into it. I did get to book a commercial for a bank company a few years ago, roller skating. I was on a veil, so it was down to maybe me and one or two other people for a national Nike commercial roller skating. So it's, you know, you get close. Again, it almost hurts sometimes being close and not booking, but I really enjoy combining the skating and acting and auditioning for skating roles. I do actually, I'm in the process of writing my own film that will involve me on skates pretty much the whole time.
That's badass. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I do love it. It's a good workout, good way to just like jam out and shake it all off.
Yeah, totally. Now, tell me about your roller skating skill reel, and what did you enjoy the most when you did that reel?
The one that's on my IMDb was actually for an audition. I think that was for the Nike one that I got on a veil for. So it's fun. My partner has a bunch of camera equipment, so I'm very blessed that he can help me with that. So I think he had his Ronin rig, so we were able to make it look really cinematic, and he was able to chase me around and get some good footage. So
that's cool.
Yeah, just kind of treat it like practice and just enjoy anytime I get a skate on camera.
Absolutely. And tell me what kind of music you like to listen with while doing roller skating? Again,
kind of an eclectic blend of everything. I'm really into this band called Mr. Wives right now. I like this band Churches. Sometimes I want to listen to stuff that's like upbeat, like The Weeknd. He's got a couple of cool Bruno Mars and skating songs. And then sometimes it's like Journey and Aerosmith and more classic rock. It depends on what I'm doing, how fast I'm skating, and I guess my state at that time. But a wide array of everything.
That's amazing. And tell me, what can we expect to see in the future of your career?
So right now, I finished a month or so ago a web series from a series called Kung Fu Femmes, and that project is called Bad Kill. Director Tony Ladotti, and he was amazing. That is available right now online, and kind of getting back into, I know we spoke before about like the whole COVID stuff. I did have a chance to work on a Netflix show that I booked a role on end of last year, but due to COVID outbreaks on set, we didn't get a film until almost like 5 months later. So at that point, they had to cut some scenes, which meant cutting lines. So I'll keep you posted on if I make an appearance. I still got to play on set, but unfortunately, I think we'll still get to keep our credit. We got paid, got the trailer, but unfortunately, with everything that was happening, they just kept losing locations and days. And you know, it's bigger than me. It's nothing to be too upset about. It affected so many of us out here. I really love the cast and crew, and when I can say something, I will. But yeah, so right now that web series is out, and hopefully some of the recent self-tapes I've auditioned for will come through and keep working.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And my last question here, any advice that you could give to people who recently starting following their dreams?
And for acting or anything in general?
Anything in general.
Anything in general. Well, definitely take it seriously. For acting specifically, do your research. Like, get on all the acting sites, Actors Access, LA Casting, Casting Frontier. You really have to put yourself out there, and for people in general, I guess just go with your truth, go with what your heart says. Sorry, it's so corny. I was thinking more of acting in general, but I think life in general, especially right now, is tough. So just stick with it, work hard, be a good person. Do good on this planet. We need more good people. So whatever the dreams are, just spread love and kindness. Absolutely.
Preach on that one too. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't better answer for that one.
I mean, you know, one of the things that I do admire about actors is that you guys pretty much are the living proof that whenever you want to do something you love, you can do it. But of course, that there's gonna be this much of hard work that you need to do in order to achieve more and more projects to get to get involved to, right? But I mean, it is personally for me one of the things that I do love the most about interviewing actors, that, as I said before, they are the living proof that dreams can come true. But of course, there's a lot of things that you need to do before that you need to consider.
And then it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to stick with it, and you can't always expect instant results. You know, when I moved here 2 months after high school, I had no idea. Give yourself time, and I mean, don't age shame yourself. I think it's silly, especially as women, we have to worry about time and running out. But you see 30-year-olds playing high schoolers. I mean, they can do prosthetics, makeup. Don't feel like you're running out of time. There's more roles. I feel like there's roles for everyone. Yeah, and with dreams, like you said, anything can happen. We don't have to limit ourselves with that negative self-talk.
Exactly, which I do think that recently we have a lot of this negative vibe going, you know. I mean, besides the whole, I mean, taking aside the whole COVID stuff, but like lately, yeah, we just have like a lot of bad news going on, and the fact that you can bring some positive vibes or some positivity through acting, you know, I think that is a good way to basically
yeah,
kind of,
a lot of great art is being created or has been created through COVID too. So a lot of music and stuff. I mean, that's the one good thing that comes out of dark times is all the art. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's gonna get better. I'm very excited. I think towards the end of the year we'll get back on pace. I know when we spoke earlier, I was mentioning that Sets Now productions I'm seeing, and our agents, my agent already reached out and said get fully vaxxed because sets don't want to have to deal with the outbreaks, even though they can still happen, and they're going to be cautious. It helps a lot to have that. So for all the actors out there, just know that too, you're going to need to get fully vaxxed to be on set. If you're here in LA, they're trying to really prevent what happened again to me with that last show of keep getting shutting down.
Absolutely. Well, Julianna, what can I say? I mean, you have basically you have a badass career. I mean, that's what I can say. I mean, you really have an amazing career. You have been involved in so many great things here, and I'm super sure that we're gonna see more of your awesome work in the future. And I really wish that, because as I said, if there's someone talented that definitely will reach for high stuff, definitely to you. So again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Diana. This was fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, also thank you so much for those who tuned in. Make sure that you're following Julianna in all of her social media. Normally what I would say is that if you're watching this later on the YouTube or listening to this later on the podcast, put pause and then follow her, leave a lot of likes here and there, and then come back for sure. And again, thank you so much. Keep having an amazing rest of the day.
Say hi, Maddie Cat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good one. Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye.